Hi everyone, welcome to Life Tips by Ning. In today's video, I'm going to share how to find out your favorable element if your daily master is a yang wood born in the summer season. So here's a foundational structure of a Bazi chart. Position number 3, if your chart looks like this character means yang wood. And position number 6 is your birth month. And those are the 3 possible months for a summer season. You have the equivalent of May. That's this Chinese character called Si. It means Yin Fire. Or your birth month is June. You have this corresponding Chinese character called Wu. It means Yang Fire. And the last month for the summer season is July. And this is a corresponding Chinese character. It means Yin Earth. So in my prior video of yang wood born in the springtime, I've already shared the foundational personality of a yang wood. And because the dominant qi for summer is fire, so we can layer the characters of fire on top of this foundational yang wood to really highlight the different personalities for people born in the summertime. So you can say that a yang wood born in summer, they're relatively speaking more expressive. They like to share their opinions publicly. They like the center of attention, and they're quite extroverted. And they also like to dress up and show up very appropriately and dress nicely in public. They also like to share information and knowledge with other people. So starting with this May birth month, that has 2 different solar terms in the birth month. The first one, which is kind of the first 15 days of the month, is called the beginning of summer. And the second solar term is called grain buds. That just means the starting to harvest the grains. So if you have to paint an environmental picture, so it's a tree growing in this very heated and dry heat environment in order to keep on producing that harvesting fruit. What does it need the most to keep on producing and grow? It definitely needs water to nourish its root. That's why the number 1 favorable element for a yang wood born in this May birth month is water. So here's the Chinese character for yang water, Ren, and that's the character for yin water, Gui. So for the top row of your own chart, which is the heavenly stems, if you see either Ren or Gui or both of them showing in position number 1, 2, or 4, that's a very good sign. You already have the desired element in your original chart. Then you're not at the mercy of waiting for them during the annual or 10-year trend. And if they're showing up on this bottom row, which is the earthly branch, so 5, 7, 8, that's also great. Or it can be like a buried composition of those 5, 7, 8. Those are all situations that water can show up in your Bazi chart in a very favorable condition. So let's say you already have this balanced water in your chart. How to even elevate from good to great? It's you also want like metal and fire in your chart, especially on the top row. The reason is that, think about it, it's a tree, right, growing in a very warm and hot environment. There are 2 possible options that both of them already have a balanced water to nourish the root. Which one will give you more diversity and more element to play with? If you have a little metal in there, you can trim the wood to concentrate its energy to grow the fruit. And if you have another fire to help like sharpen the metal, it kind of works in synergy to keep your balanced state with even more additional element to help you and keep you more tools in your pocket. in comparison to just simply 3 players in your picture, which is water grows wood and wood grows fire, it's fine. It's already pretty balanced. It's way better than a Bazzi chart without water. But I'm just saying, relatively speaking, if you can expand that harmony of balance with additional metal and fire in your chart, that's even a better elevated Bazzi chart, because metal grows water, so water grows wood. So metal and water is the input channel. And because wood grows fire and fire grows earth, so fire and earth are the output channel for a young wood person. So if you have both the input and output in a balanced way, I'm just saying with additional 2 players in the game, it gives you more options in life. But please don't be misled to think that I can only look for metal and fire in my chart. If I see them, I'm a good Bazzi chart. That's missing the prerequisite. Again, the primary requirement is that you already have a balanced water in your chart. Without it, only looking at metal and fire doesn't make much sense. So that's kind of a logic of why water is that desirable element. Let's say in a unlucky situation, if your original chart, you looked everywhere, it's very, either you cannot find water anywhere, or it's buried somewhere in one little earthly branch as a fainted composition. In that case, your water is either non-existent or it's super weak. What would you do? And if that happens to a Bazzi chart, to make it even worse, you have reduction groups in your chart. What I mean by reduction group is that you either have a strong combination of fire and earth, which is on the output channel, that suck away qi from the wood, or you have a lot of metal and fire in your chart, because metal suppresses wood. Without water in the middle, it's like a huge reduction energy for the wood itself. And fire also takes away the growing energy from the wood. So you have a strong pair of both metal and fire in your chart, and you see you cannot see water anywhere. That makes it even way more unbalanced and make the wood weaker and weaker. So if that's the situation, it's unfortunate. So the only remedy is you cannot find the remedy in your own original chart. So you have to wait for the annual or 10-year trend. You especially watch out for those environmental impact when it comes a lot of wood or water element. That's gonna be the most favorable time of that person's life to either do something new that is less burdensome. So that's how you analyze Bazzi. But going back to summarize for this May birth month, number 1 takeaway is water. Without the balanced water in your chart, you don't even have to do that second step of looking for like a step up or refinement, right? Water is the number 1 precondition for a balanced Bazzi. And moving on for this June birth month, it's a very similar logic as I shared for the May birth month. Overall, it does like water as well, but I just want to make a fine-tuned call out based on the importance of solar terms. Because June has both grain harvest and the summer solstice, those are the 2 solar terms. If your birth date is before the start of this summer solstice solar term, it's still, relatively speaking, a drier, warmer time in comparison to a person whose birth time is after this summer solstice solar term. So even though for that June birth month, I really crave and desire water in my chart, on the condition you cannot find water in your chart, the consequence and severity of not having water is definitely less if your birth time is after summer solstice versus the consequence and severity of no water if your birth time is before summer solstice. That's just kind of the fine-tuned analysis of the condition of that qi and the external environment and the impact of that delicate balance for your own daily master. And last but not least is this birth month of July. Any Earth birth month, that's the transitional season. So in this particular case, it's transitioning from summer's fire to fall's metal qi. And it consists of this lesser heat and the greater heat solar terms. Again, same thing, July, if you have water, a balanced water, that's the number one prerequisite for a good Bazi chart. But relatively speaking, if this particular Bazi chart does not have water, again, the severity and impact for people who are born closer to this greater heat, which is the end of July, right? It's more closer to the beginning of fall. So it's not as dry as the prior month. So that consequent impact is less. The neediness for water is less. So that's how we fine tune and analyze it, even though for the entire summer season, you're craving water for sure. But the consequence of not having water vary based on your solar term. And I want to do a quick call out of the difference between wet earth and dry earth. So because if your birth month is a Yin Earth, right? There are 4 types of earth for the earthly branches. Both this Yin Earth, which is the end of summer, and then this earth, which is the end of fall, because neither of them have any water included in it. You can watch like the deep dive of earthly branches to know what I'm talking about. If you have no clue what I'm talking about right now, right? The composition of earthly branch, because neither those two have any water included in them, they're considered as dry earth. In contrast, Chen, which is the end of springtime, and Chou, which is the end of winter, because both of those two earthly branches, they have water included within them. They're considered wet earth. So in that case, if other than this Yin Earth inner position number 6, if you're like 5, 7, or 8, you have other earth showing up. Ideally, you want to have wet earth rather than dry earth in it. And the rationale is because the wet earth still has water buried underneath them, so it can give you that favorable water element in an indirect way. So that's kind of a wrap for how to analyze favorable element for young wood born in the summertime. The next episode, I will share some case studies to demonstrate how to apply this logic into real Bazi analysis. Thank you for watching. Bye.